Hello again. Welcome to my channel. I have one more dream to share with you until I have more, unless or until I have more. This dream occurred, I believe it was during the summer of last year, which would be 2011. I saw I was in somewhere on the East Coast. It could have been New England, it could have been New York or New Jersey. I know it's near the waterfront, and I was in this city. And it seems like it had been in the news for weeks and months on end that this terrible storm was coming. And they were telling people if you were in this particular area to get out while you could, because the storm was coming and it would be impossible to get out at that time. It would be too late. And so people heeded the warning that heard it and left. And there were others who kind of took their time, but then they eventually left. And in the dream there was this news crew that came to the city. And they were showing, what the status of the city was at this time. And it's prior to the storm coming, but they were showing what the status of the city was. And I remember seeing a gentleman walking down the street, and he was kind of happy-go-lucky, just walking around, calm and not worried about anything. And the newscaster asked him, she said, "Excuse me, sir," she said, "Are you planning on leaving the city? What are your plans? Are you planning to stay here? What do you have planned for the next few days?" And he said, "Leave the city? Why? This is where I live, what are you talking about?" And she said, "Well, you haven't heard?" And he said, "Heard what?" She said, "Sir, for months they've been talking about the terrible storm that's coming. It's been in the news for weeks, and people have been leaving. They've been urging people to leave and warning them not to stay. You haven't heard about it?" And he said, "Well, I might have heard something about that. I probably blew it off. I think I heard a little bit about a storm, but I blew it off. I think he was talking about a rainstorm or something. Rain in the forecast." But he said, "But no, they're telling people to leave." He said, "Seriously?" She said, "Yeah." She said, "It's going to be deadly. There's going to be some events that are going to take place that people may not make it, if they stay here." So he said, "Wow." He said, "I didn't know this." And he started to panic, and he ran to his apartment, which was behind the where the camera crew was filming. And he ran inside and told his girlfriend, and she ran out to the balcony area. She was holding onto the rails, and she was looking down at the camera crew. And he came out looking at them in a panic. Then he ran back into the apartment, and he was trying to just pack up what he could. He was going to throw it in bags and boxes. And sorry to laugh, but it's just the way that it looked in the dream, the way he was reacting. I remember thinking he was overwhelmed, and he said, "I can't get this done in time. It's too late. Just forget it." And he ran down. His girlfriend was trying to calm him down, and he wouldn't even be. He was like inconsolable, and he ran down these steps, and he ran back to almost where the news crew was, and he looked at the sky, and he started shaking his fist in the sky, and he said, "I'm going to beat this storm. I'm going to beat this storm." And then he kind of looked like a crazy man at that point, like a lunatic. And the camera was on him the whole time, just following his every move. And the news anchor said, "Well, folks, you've seen it for yourselves. This man thinks that he's going to beat the storm." She said, on that note, she said, "We're going to pack up and we're going to leave the city and we're out of here." So, poor guy, I felt bad for him, but I don't know what he was going to do. I guess he was going to sit there and beat the storm, when the storm came. But, and I could see the station wagon packed up with all their suitcases and things on top of the car, and they were driving out as the camera crew showed the car drive and then panned away, and the story broke. The scene then switched to some valleys. I don't know where this was, but it wasn't far from where we were, and there were some valleys and mountains, green, beautiful, lush valleys and so forth. It was like a serene place, and they weren't cages, but these round areas that were fenced by these wooden fences, and one had the figures like a stick figure, but you could see women, the shapes of women and men. There was a shape for women and a shape for men, and that's where they were going to house the women and men. And there was another one that had the animals, and I could see them airlifting a giraffe. It was it had that like a blanket underneath its body, and it was attached to this harness, and they were airlifting this giraffe to this area. I think they were going to put it into this area. It reminded me so much of Noah's Ark, and reminded me so much of that. And it's like they were going to preserve some of the animals, whatever they could preserve, for the survival of whatever this event was that was going to take place. So take it for what it's worth. I don't know what it means, but it could be a warning that the Lord is coming soon, and time of trouble that the Bible talks about in the book of Revelations and the book of Daniel is coming, and it could be a warning just to be prepared for what's coming. So, on that note, as always, be well and stay blessed. My daughter just came in to give her greeting. Take care. Bye-bye.